Alright, this is going to be probably a little bit longer video, and there might be some start, stops, and pauses in here. But I'm going to just basically record myself setting up an HR project in Redmine that we could use to track some type of accountability policy, like write-ups or complaints. Okay, so I mean, the first thing that I've done is I've gone here and I've created a project for HR, and the way I would do that is just go to projects and click new project, and then it's just going to ask me some questions about it. So I've already done that. So I'm going to click on my project and I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to think about, okay, what do I need to be able to do in here? So I don't really want the workflow for any of these. I probably want a custom workflow so that basically I've got something to track, like a complaint or something, right? So the first thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to go to administration. Okay, and then once I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a tracker for that. And see, I've got to list all these different trackers here, and I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to call it a complaint. Okay, and its default status is just going to be new. And no, we're not going to do anything about the roadmap. So we're going to try to figure out, okay, standard fields. Okay, like, who's supposed to deal with the complaint? Maybe that's not anything we need to care about. We don't have target versions or parent tasks, probably. Um, Date created, due date. We don't need that because we just need to keep track of like when the complaint was created. We don't need to estimate how much time. There's not really a percent done about a complaint, right? So that's probably fine, right? So we're going to go in here and we're going to select what project that this should appear in. It's going to appear in HR. And then I'm going to go ahead and click create. So now we have a complaint. And you're going to see here there's no workflow defined. Now I'm going to show you what that means. If I open projects here in the tab and I go to HR, and I'm going to go and I'm going to make a new complaint. Alright, so I'm going to say I'm making a complaint. Alright, and you'll see that it's not asking for a lot of the different stuff that it usually would. Now, I probably don't need the Agile board to handle complaints, right? So I'm going to go here to settings, and I'm going to go ahead and just say, no, we don't actually, I'm going to go under modules. We don't actually need Agile for complaints. All right, and the other thing is we may not actually need tasks either. So I'm going to turn that off so that if you're in the HR project and you're going to make a new issue, it's going to be a complaint. And that's going to clean this up so we don't really have all the different stuff, to deal with. All right, and you'll notice that the only status that I can make here is new. And that's kind of what it's talking about with no workflow defined. So I'm going to make a test complaint. All right, I'm going to click create. All right, so I've got my test complaint. If I hit edit, we're going to see that the status can't be changed, right? It doesn't give me an option to change it. That's what this is talking about when it's saying that, there's no workflow defined for this tracker, right? So it's basically asking me what statuses can a complaint like go through. So let's just try to think about this. The first status we probably have for a complaint is somebody complained. It's a new complaint. And let's think what the process would be. After somebody complains, what do we probably need to do? Do we want to indicate whether or not we have read the complaint? Maybe. Like that, just, yep, the complaint's been received. Then is that something where we're going to investigate it? Yep, that could be. So I'll go under here in administration. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make some issue statuses for this, right? So I'm going to make a new status and I'm going to say read. So we've read the complaint. Alright, I'm going to make a new status that investigating. So we're investigating the complaint. And actually resolved and closed probably work fine for this, right? So we've got read, investigating, resolved, and closed. Alright, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go back here to administration, and I'm going to go here under my trackers and complaints. I'm going to go ahead and make a workflow now about these. So I'm going to hit edit, and it's going to ask me, see, we got these different managers. So the manager of HR for complaints can do what? What status transitions are allowed? So when you first set this up, it looks pretty daunting, but it's not really like that that crazy. So basically the way this reads is based on the current status of the complaint, what can it change to? So a manager can say it's new. A manager could say it's resolved. A manager could say that it's a rejected complaint because it's just nothing here. Okay, red investigating. Okay, I think that workflow makes sense. Okay, so then we're going to say that when the complaint is resolved, it can change back to investigating. We're going back to look at it some more. Or it can change to closed. All right. And then when it's closed, we could possibly go back and reopen it. We're going to go back and see, okay, well, somebody brought the same problem up again. Maybe we're going to go look and see what's going on here. If it's rejected, it could probably also change back to investigating. If it's a new message, I don't think we need to do anything here. We'll just play with it. Receiver plus allocated, and investigating. If it's investigating what can happen here, they think it could change to back to red, like we can't investigate it. I think it could change to rejected, and it could change to closed, and maybe resolved. So I'm just going to save that for now and see what we come up with. And see, this is much easier to read once you get it to this point. Alright, so somebody makes a new complaint. The manager can change it to, can leave it new, resolved, mark it rejected, red, or investigating. If it's new, the manager can keep it new, resolved, and it's probably actually, the manager can pretty much set it to whatever from new. So we'll just save that. Right? And if it's red, we want to be able to say it's going to investigating or it's going to rejected from there. Alright, so we might have to play and tweak with this a little bit to be able to get it to do what we want. So if I come in here now and I basically refresh this, and if I hit edit, now I'm going to be able to change the status to what it's allowed to be from there. Okay? And I think, what we're saying here is that, I think our workflow is going to look like it's going to go from, okay, we've read it, we're looking into the matter, we think we fixed it, we're not even going to look into this, or we think we fixed it and we verified that. I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. Okay, now what are some things that I might want to track about a complaint? So probably the type of complaint, and we want to think about like what kinds of complaints would there be, and we also want to probably keep track of who are we complaining about, right? Or what are we complaining about? All right, so I think that we're gonna need some custom fields for that. So I'm gonna go again under administration, and I'm gonna go here to custom fields. And I'm going to say, okay, so what kind of custom fields do we need for this? So I'm just going to click through. It's going to be about the issue. And I'm going to say that, okay, we want to be able to track who are we complaining about, right? So that's going to be a user. Okay, so we're just going to call this about complaint about who is the complaint about, right? And maybe they can select multiple people. Okay, and who can set this? Anybody can, and it's going to be a drop-down list. Okay, and is it required? No, because some complaints might not be about a person. And do we want to be able to search by this? Yeah, I think so. We probably do. Okay, who can see who the complaint's about? I'm going to say only managers can see who the complaint is about. Alright, and then this is going to apply only to complaints. Okay, and then this is only going to show up in the HR project. And I'm going to click Save. Alright, so if I go back over here now, and I go to edit this again, well, I need to refresh this. that's going to be an option now, is who is the complaint about. And, nobody's going to show up in here until I set members. I have to set like what people are in the HR project and what role they have, and I'll do that later. Okay, so we want to know, okay, the complaint is about who. Okay, now do we want to classify the complaints at all? I think we probably do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new custom field. Is issues is going to be type of the type of complaint. Okay, select the type of problem you are complaining about. Okay, and then that's going to be a list of different things. I'm going to say they can select multiple things. So possible values is going to be performance, work output, quantity of work, quality of work, not following directions, insubordination. Let's see here. Unprofessional behavior. Let's see here. What else? What other kinds of things might somebody complain? Okay, like attendance. And let's see. Let's leave it at that. We were just going to put a generic other in here for right now. All right. And let's sort of make that a checklist. And we're going to say, yeah, that's required. You can search by it, filter by it. Who can see the type? That's anybody can see it. It's for complaints, and it's for HR. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. All right. So now if I come back over here, I go back to my issues list. All right. If I go in here to make a new complaint, now I can select what type of complaint it was. So I can say it's about the quality of work, and also ignoring what the manager said, and we're going to say bad complaint. All right, so if I create that, there we go, we've got it, and then we got the list here. So if I go over here now, what I should be able to do is come in here and say that I want to be able to see who the complaint's about and what type of complaint it is. And there we go. So now we've basically got a place to put these complaints, and what I would need to do next is set up what kind of access people have to this. That's what those roles are about. So you can set this up so that some people can report complaints, but they can't see anything but their own complaints, for example, or like they can't see that other people are complaining about them. But anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate this so that we understand that Redmine can be used to create like all kinds of custom workflows for stuff like this. And what's neat about it is that it has an API, so no matter what kind of workflow you made, you also, every time you do this, you get an API for it. So if you want external software or programs to be able to work with this data, you can do that relatively easily if you know any programming language. All right, I hope you learned something.